Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports, where every play counts. I'm Grant, and I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing.
You're doing good?
I'm doing
Well,
something.
before we start the episode, Mason told me before the show that he has something he wants to get off his chest to say. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away, Mason.
All right, so the Philadelphia Eagles are a very good team, and Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the league. AJ Brown is underused, and I think he's a very good receiver. Um, the Philadelphia Eagles are one of the best teams in football. Um, they have a very great culture, and Philly is a good place to be when watching football games. Their fans are very nice. Um, I, I think that the Eagles may take the NFC this year as well. Um, they have a great defense. They have a great offensive line. Um, Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles are a team that I would not want to play a lot, and they are such a team. All right, that's it. That's enough.
Wow, Mason, I didn't know that you liked the Eagles so much. Do you want to tell us why? What's changed?
So we made a bet like 2 weeks ago. We play each other in fantasy football. We played against each other for the first week, and we said whoever won or whoever lost had to go a minute straight, pretty much, talking good about their most hated team. So if Grant lost, he would have had to talk about the Buffalo Bills. And obviously, I lost. I lost by like what, like 3 or 4 points or something, just because T.J.
Okay.
Hawkinson didn't get the ball. Is something ridiculous, but I did it. So yeah,
Good job. You're a man of your word. It's
I did.
respectable.
I didn't know what to say. Like I sure as heck wasn't saying anything about Jalen Hurts. I'll tell you that.
That's all right.
You like the fans? You like what I said about the
Yeah, the fan
fans?
part, that's what took me out, was the fans. They're nice. They're nice people. That was the funny
They're very
part.
nice.
All right. Now that we got that out of the way and I showed who's the boss when it comes to fantasy football, we're gonna go
Okay.
into our normal episode and we're gonna start with our hot takes of the week. So Mason, go ahead. What is your hot take this week?
All right, my hot take this week, it's kind of more just like a regular statement, which sucks. But this kickoff weekend had some of the best like games we've seen in a 1 week NFL span, in a very long time. There's 10 games that had a final score that resulted in a one-score game. So that's a lot of close football being played. And if you were watching Red Zone, there's a lot going on at the same time, which is very cool to watch instead of watching the Giants get beat. So yeah, that's my hot take.
Yeah, I like it. It was a fun week. Obviously that Sunday night game was probably the best out of all the games, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of crazy comebacks happened. We saw with the Vikings last night too. So it was fun.
Yep.
My hot take, it's pretty hot because I know that this guy's pretty popular amongst fans in the sport, and that is John Harbaugh is starting to become overrated. He has now
Mm.
have 17 blown double-digit leads, including the 15-point choke against the Bills on Sunday Night Football, and he is 2-3 in the playoffs in the last 4 years. And I even am seeing fans on social media start to call him the Doc Rivers of the NFL. So
Mm.
um, it just seems like he has an issue in late game scenarios. I've seen a lot of Ravens fans venting about it for a while now. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my hot take. I know people love Harbaugh and think he's a great coach, but I think there's definitely an issue there with all these double digit blown leads. And also, it's to be said that the last few seasons, he's had teams that have Super Bowl expectations and they just have not looked that good in the playoffs. So, yeah, that's my hot
Mm-hmm.
take.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead and slide into the underdog of the week. So, Mason, who is your underdog for this week?
So I had kind of two. The first one was JJ McCarthy. That was kind of the big one because first half of that game last night, it was the Vikings as a whole were just looking horrible. And he threw that pick six, and it's like, man, how could the Vikings get any worse at this point? And then he started finding, one of the best receivers in the league, and Justin Jefferson, and was really getting things going, which is cool to see from a young quarterback like that. And then my second one is Jake Tonjes, backup tight end for the 49ers. Came in after George Kittle got hurt. He's been in the league for 3 years and has never had a reception. He came into this game, had 3 crucial catches, including the go-ahead touchdown, which would ultimately lead into a win against the Seattle Seahawks. So that's huge on him and big underdog moment.
Yeah, I like those picks. I also have 2 as well, starting with, I think, the best pick for underdog of the week, and that's Daniel Jones coming into week 1. 22 of 29 for 279 yards, a touchdown, then had 7 carries for 26 yards and 2 touchdowns. Obviously blew the Dolphins out 33-8. He looked fantastic. He looked really solid. He looks like he's going to be the quarterback 1 over there for a while now. I know it was a debate if him or Anthony Richardson should get it, but I think there's no more debate after that performance he had. I'm interested to see how he plays in future weeks, or if that was just kind of a fluke because the Dolphins are that bad. But only time will tell. I think it was only right to give him the nod. And then my other one is Quentin Johnston with 5 receptions and 2 touchdowns against the Chiefs. And yeah, he looked really solid.
Yeah.
Bested Lad McConkey and, was Justin Herbert's favorite target that game, it seemed like. So, yeah, that's my second pick for underdog of the week.
Yeah, it's crazy to see him, do well because in the past season, at least, just insane drops where like he's wide open and yeah, so it's crazy to see just at least in 1 week how that's changed. So we'll see if that continues.
Yeah. And now we're going to go ahead and slide over to the NFL headlines. First, we're going to start with a game prediction update. For those of you who don't know, Mason and I every week have our picks for every single game in the NFL. We post that on Instagram and TikTok at GM Sports Report. And the updated record for right now after week 1, I am ahead with a 12-4 record, and Mason is at a 10-6 record. So, still close first week.
Mm-hmm.
Only disagreed on 2 picks, and I believe I got both those right. So that's why there's a 2-game separation. But plenty of time left, as we know.
That Bills Ravens game really could have gone either way. That one
It could have, but
I
it
didn't
didn't.
even
I know.
I didn't even care. I didn't even care that I lost that one. That was an amazing game. The best game I think I've seen since the Rams Chiefs game that one night a while
It was a
back. I think it
crazy
was like
game.
2018 or something.
It's a crazy game. It just stinks. It had to be a team like the Bills that were a part of it. Anyways, we're gonna go into our 3 takeaways from week 1. So Mason, what are your 3 takeaways?
So I had a lot that I could put, obviously, but I kind of wanted to do the more not talked about as much, just so we didn't have the same things we're going to talk about. So my first is that the kickers were on something this weekend. Browns kicker, I don't remember his name exactly. I had the chance to win, but he missed, which Cleveland fans, I'm sure, are kicking themselves over losing the division rival in such a close game. And Younghoe Koo also had a chance to tie. He missed after a great Falcons drive led by Penix. And then Prater, Bills kicker, who just got signed like 4 days before the game. He's 41 years old and drills a game-winning field goal against one of the best teams in football, the Baltimore Ravens. So that was crazy. My second takeaway is that the Jaguars look good even in the season opener. All thanks to Travis Etienne, really. 16 carries, 143 yards. Granted, it's the Panthers, but it's still a good win. A win is a win in this league. You got to take them where you can get them. And the third is a game that I don't think was kind of looked at like much at all, just because of these teams don't have much interest. And that's Cardinals. They seem to just get by the Saints. Kyler Murray, 21-29, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he was getting completions out, just not for very many yards. Not sure if we should credit the Saints for keeping it close, or if we should, kind of get on the Cardinals for playing bad. I'm not too sure what to look at. There's just been so many, weird scenarios that happened this weekend to where you just don't know right now. You have no idea who is who. So it'll be interesting to see it play out.
Yeah, I like it. My first takeaway is that I think the Packers could be able to take the North away from the Lions. Obviously, we
Yeah.
saw them beat the Lions in week 1. And the thing is, the Packers had a top 5 defense last season, and now they added Micah Parsons to that defense. And I think that's only going to, make them even better, obviously, because Micah
Mhm.
Parsons is one of the best defenders. And Jordan Love looked great in week 1. He looked very solid, was able to get the ball to his receivers. And I really do think that they have a chance to make some noise in this NFC North division. And Lions, on the other hand, they looked like they struggled. Jared Goff, especially, just did not have a good game at all. And it makes you kind of wonder if losing those coordinators you lost is
Mhm.
going to play a factor moving forward for those guys. So just something to keep an eye on.
Yep.
My second takeaway is also division prediction, and that is Jacksonville Jaguars might be able to win the AFC South. I This is kind of a mix between one, Jacksonville looking so good. Yes, it's against the Panthers, but on the other hand, you look at the Texans, who's probably the favorite to win the division, and I just don't see the juice in that team this year.
Mhm.
CJ Stroud just hasn't been able to, reach that ceiling that he set in his rookie year since the last couple seasons. And Nico Collins was, not getting targeted at all in that game for week 1. And I can just see the Texans kind of having a down year and Jacksonville, being in the mix for the AFC South. And
Yeah,
my third
cool.
takeaway is that Egbuka
Like,
from the Tampa Bay
mhm.
Buccaneers is the best receiver from this draft. 4 receptions for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns at his first ever game. And we all knew coming into this, a lot of fantasy football guys were saying to pick him up and take him because he's going to be a big winner for the future. And he looks like he's going to be just that. So that's my 3 takeaways.
Yeah, so I was sure that you're gonna take this takeaway, but um, I was gonna say them, but again, I thought you were gonna say them. The Raiders, winning over the Patriots, I think that's a big shock on its own.
Hmm.
Geno Smith, 24 for 34, 362 yards. Granted, he did have a touchdown and an interception, but when you're throwing the ball like that, it's kind of hard to lose with 362 yards. And then Brock Bowers, he had 103 yards on 5 receptions. So I just it's interesting because when you see the kind of way or just through the offseason how the Patriots were building with Vrabel and you have a young quarterback in Drake May, it's like, okay, yeah, I think they're going to be a good team. And then the Raiders come out swinging and get up early on 1-0. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
another thing I'd like to kind of show light on.
Yeah, I like it. Jacoby Myers also had a big game for
Mhm.
the Raiders, who was a player that requested a trade not too long ago. So that was interesting to see. And yeah, we'll find
Yep.
out in a matter of time if that was more impressive on the Raiders or if the Patriots are just not that
Mhm.
good again. So yeah, I like
Yep.
that takeaway. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and slide over to the MLB real quick, and we're going to do our player of the week and team of the week. So, Mason, who is your player of the week for the MLB?
Angels outfielder Joe Adele. He has been batting 407, 5 home runs, 12 ribbies, and 1,000 slugging. So he's been looking absolutely amazing. And, we'll see if he can finish out the season well.
Yeah, the Joe Adell breakout year has finally happened. I know so many Angels fans have been waiting for this guy to break out. He was their top prospect a while ago. I'd like to say it was like 5 years ago, maybe. And he just never has been able to reach that ceiling, but he's finally starting to break
Hmm.
out here. And I'm happy for him. I like Joe Adell. I think he's a great player. And yes, that was a good pick to have because he did win AL Player of the Week. And I am going to go with the NL Player of the Week, Hunter Goodman, who went 10 of 21 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Kind of the only bright spot for that Rockies team. So was their all-star this year, and he's continuing to play at an all-star level. So that's my pick for player of the week.
Hmm.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and say our team of the week. So Mason, who is your team for this week?
I I picked them last week, I know, but the Texas Rangers, 7-3 in the last 10, game and a half back from that wild card spot that the Mariners are currently in. I have been seeing that the Mariners have been on somewhat of a decline, so we'll see if the Rangers can kind of buckle down and get that wild card spot. But it'd be cool to kind of see them push forward and get that. So yeah, they're my team of the week.
Yeah, I also picked the Rangers for my team of the week because I'm doubling down. I think that you know, a couple weeks ago they weren't in the mix at all. It was kind of just the Astros and Mariners in that division. And now not only are they a game and a half back from the wild card, they're only 3.5 games back from first place in the division. So down the
Wow.
stretch here, we're going to see like a 3-team race between the Astros, Mariners, and Rangers, and it's going to be pretty fun to watch. Um, Rangers have like a really good pitching staff. It all comes down to if their offense can stay hot or not. So we'll see what happens. 7-3 in their last 10, and they're looking really good right now. And like you said, the Mariners are starting to kind of struggle here. So we'll see what happens down the home stretch. And yeah, that's also my team of the week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and now we're gonna go ahead and slide into college football real quick. Mason, what are your takeaways from this last week of college football? I'll kind of let you take away this segment.
Yeah, so I mean, it sucks because there's not really too much to take away. A lot of the big teams were going against like no name schools. Really seemed to be just more of a confidence boosting weekend for the powerhouse teams. Like there's teams out there winning like 70-0, like Ohio State was, and then I think FSU won 77-3 against whoever they were playing. So there's not too much of that, but I will say that the biggest headline was USF Bulls winning against I think they were 13th ranked Florida. I was actually at that game, which sucked to kind of be a part of, but I think that USF needs to be taken more seriously. They have gone back-to-back weeks beating ranked teams. They beat number 25 Boise State in week 1, and then now number 13 Florida. So they play number 5 Miami this weekend. So if they can do that, if they can beat Miami, that would be one heck of a story. I don't know how legitimate that'll be, but we'll see. But I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of these games this last week were just kind of, big teams paying off
Mm-hmm.
little teams to go against each other and get a confidence boost. So I only have one takeaway here, and it's that the Gators are overrated, especially DJ Lagway. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on that.
Okay, got it.
All right. Now we're going to do one final thing. I thought it was kind of interesting. I saw this post after week 1. Bleacher Report made a post about overreactions that are going to be made by fans after NFL week 1. And I kind of wanted to see where your head is at on them, where our head is at on them, if we agree with some of these
Okay.
or not. So I'm not going to go over all 30 that they have. I'm just going to go over the main 5 that
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
on the post. And that is starting with the Chiefs' reign of terror is over.
Um, I'm gonna agree just because I think that there's stronger AFC teams. Um, yeah, just gonna agree.
I'm gonna agree too because I watched that Ravens and Bills game, and I just think there's no way. Surely, there's no way the Chiefs can
Oh
keep up
yeah,
with that
I
this
know.
year. There's no way. I don't think any other team
They
in the
couldn't
AFC is going to be able to keep up with those two teams.
they couldn't beat the Chargers. Don't get me wrong. Chargers are looking great
Exactly.
this year, but I mean, if you're a team like Kansas City who went 3 times to the Super Bowl in a row, you should be able to, and you're still kicking. You should be able to beat a team like that. And not to mention that Worthy is probably going to be out for a little bit thanks to Travis
Hmm.
Kelsey. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Second overreaction. It's time to end the Bryce Young experiment.
Mm. Oh man, he's got such a bad team around him. He was cursed from the get go. I'm just gonna say disagree. I think I don't know what else they can do. They could put any quarterback back there, and I honestly think that they'd do just as bad. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna disagree.
Yeah, I'm also going to disagree here. I don't think that you can really judge him until he has like somewhat of a decent offense around him.
Yes. Yep.
Like you can't really like just expect him to make lemonade with no lemons. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have anything
They,
on that team.
no, you draft a rookie, Tet McMillan, and expect him to just magically be good in that whole offense. No, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
buying it.
Yeah,
That's a Panther situation.
yeah. I'm not giving up on him just yet. So I also
Yep.
disagree with that overreaction. Oh, here's one I can go on about. It's time for a coaching change in Miami.
Yeah, I agree. I said this so many times before, but he's just a boon of the NFL. And everything I saw one thing today. He was like, I'm very grateful for this experience. Getting our butts whooped. What are you talking about? Go ahead.
Um, I posted a video yesterday for Miami Sports Report. Giving a breakdown on week 1, so go check that out if you guys want. I go on a way bigger rant than what I'm going to do now because I'm kind of calm now. I'm trying to keep it in. I'm trying to be relaxed. Kind of like Mike McDaniel. I'm going to try to be relaxed. Try that one. Not only do I think it's time for a coaching change in Miami, I think it's time for a head to bottom reset. I'm talking Greer gone, McDaniel gone, Tua gone, Tyreek gone. It is time to strip away this team and just completely rebuild and make a new culture. I know we were talking about it. We need a new coach, someone that's going to set a culture. Guys like Rex Ryan, John Gruden, those guys that is not going to let this soft stuff fly, because this Dolphins team has been soft for 4 seasons now. They've been the softest team in the league. You can have all the talent you want in the world, but if you're soft in the NFL, you're not going anywhere. And it starts with Mike McDaniel. No one in that locker room respects
Yeah.
him. I said this yesterday. No one respects him. They probably look down to him more than they look up to him. And that's just, you can't have that in an NFL locker room. It's ridiculous. And Tua, I'm sorry. I used to be a big Tua defender, but I think this was my breaking point with him. I just can't with the whole pampering thing. Like, oh, McDaniel looks after Tua. He really makes him feel valued. What is this? Like a relationship or something? Like, it's the NFL. This is the NFL. You got to get on your quarterback if he sucks. Don't hold him accountable, because what happened last week was Tua went on the presser after the game. They asked him, why do turnovers happen in bunches for you? And he responds saying, oh, I think that's like a disrespectful comment. Turnovers are just part of the game, and I just happen to have that happen more so than other times. And it's like, dude, hold yourself accountable. You sucked, okay? There's no other way to put it. You stunk. You went against the Colts and you put up 8 points. And we're supposed to be an offensive minded team. We put up 8 points. So, yes, sorry, I know I said I was going to be relaxed, but yes, it's time for a coaching change in Miami. I agree with that overreaction.
Okay.
Sorry.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Here's one you can go on a little rant about.
Oh, great.
We can get back-to-back rants out here. Russ is cooked, and it's time for Dart to start throwing.
Disagree. You can put freaking Tom Brady behind that offensive line, and he's not going to get you anything. Man, it was so bad. Russell Wilson, he had some throws that might not have been great, and yeah, maybe would have changed the game. But let's be honest, on out of all of his dropbacks, 50% of those have been pressured. So he was either on the floor or getting sacked. It was something to where it altered the throw. So if we're gonna put in Jackson Dart behind an offensive line like that, we're not gonna have a franchise quarterback. And I'd actually like, or just have a chance of having a franchise quarterback. I'd actually like to, watch a guy develop and not get killed in week 2. So if you want to do something like that, save it for the Saints game to where you can maybe have a chance and kind of develop him a little more. We have the hardest schedule in the league, and it's not going to get any easier after that game. So, we got to stick with what we got. Just got to be better, honestly. The offensive line destroyed the whole game, if not the season. I don't really see it getting much better. Sure, we lost our left tackle, and he didn't play week 1, but it's much more than that. So, yeah, I guess the only bright spot really was our defensive line. Our secondary was horrible, and it was cool to see Cam Scatterbo get in for 2 plays and make somewhat of an impact, and then not play the entirety of the game. So, yeah, that was great. We'll see.
Yeah, I think in today's NFL, for some reason, it's like the new thing is you just want to see the rookie quarterback play right away. And it's kind
Mhm.
of a lost art now with like watching some of these quarterbacks develop behind the scenes for a season or two. I mean, Jordan Love's really the last one that kind of had that kind of arc. I feel like with those few seasons with Aaron Rodgers there, and he developed behind him. I just feel like it's kind of a lost art. I think it's a good thing, especially with a struggling team like the Giants. Like, let him develop behind the
Mhm.
scenes, get ready, and when the time is right, the time is right. But like you said, right now, it's not going to make a difference if the issues with the O line isn't fixed
No.
and stuff like that. There's issues that need to be fixed before he's like ready to go out there and have a real shot at this winning and stuff like that. So I also am going to disagree with this overreaction. I think Russ also is a good enough veteran to where he's not going to play that bad every single week,
Mhm.
and maybe he can turn things around. But like you said, with that O line, it's hard to really do anything. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, and finally, the last one's kind of interesting to think about. Dan Campbell can't succeed with the new coordinators.
I think it's too early to tell. So just because of that, I'm gonna say disagree. But if it gets like, another 2 weeks down the line and they're still looking that rough, I can very easily sway over to the agree. I'm kind of 50-50 right now, so just to have a label on it, I'm hit disagree. But yeah, again, it could ultimately end up being a very bad situation. So.
Yeah, I'm also gonna disagree just because of how good the Lions were last year. I need to see them lose a couple more
Mhm.
times before I start going over to that side. But there is without a doubt that they looked sloppy on
It
offense.
showed,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. It did show. So, like you said, I'm also kind of 50-50 on this topic because there's no denying that something was off with that team. They look different than what they looked like last year. So, I like you said, I need to see a couple more losses before I'm fully on that side. But for right now, I'm going to disagree with that overreaction.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. So thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode of GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be able to see our weekly episodes on all things sports. For additional content, check the description to see links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant and Mason. Sign off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, guys.